for the CPU of choice, ladies and gentlemen, in a $650, actually $657 to be exact, we are going to go with the Ryzen 5 5500. Okay. In some builds, you would be able to squeeze out a 5600. Of course, you'd have a little bit less money to spend on your GPU, but with RAM prices being absolutely ridiculous right now, this is what we have to settle for if we want to keep the cost at $650. That is a Ryzen 5 5500. We're gonna plug that in to whatever the cheapest B550 micro ATX motherboard that I could find at the time. This one being the ASRock Pro B550M Pro 4. This one actually doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi, which is a huge bummer, but it has the white and black aesthetic that I'm going for. So, sure, if you want to go for built-in Wi-Fi... Oh, wait, it does have built-in Wi-Fi! Right? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's saying that you can plug... I was going to say. It says you can plug in Wi-Fi. No, it doesn't. Anyway, we got the white and black aesthetic. That's the priority. Next up, dude, I'm gonna throw you guys for a trip right now. Dude. Speaking of Ramageddon, dude, this is just the beginning of Ramageddon. Things are about to get worse. But for right now, we got to make some questionable calls with the RAM choices, ladies and gentlemen. And today, we are going with some thick watt. That sounds like I'm gonna get copyright striked or something for saying that, or banned off the. It's called thick watt. I just bought that. This is the thick watt FD10, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, look at this. Look at that box, though. Dude, I hope the RAM works as good as this box does. Dude, that's incredible. Doesn't even need light, man. It's like magic. Dude, that's pretty impressive. The what? It's the thick watt. You guys haven't heard of thick watt? Packaging 10 out of 10? Dude, let's unbox the thick watt right now. I gotta see what we're working with. I'm not making this up, man. This is the... Okay. Okay. Hold on, man. Let me get a nice little B-roll shot here. Dude, look at this, man. I've seen worse. Name 20 out of 10? Ew, what the... What is that? 2 stickers. Okay, that I'm not buying. That is way too much. It's the thick watt. The what? The thick watt. Like that's too much, man. Okay, that part I'm not vibing with. Everything else I am. Yeah, you had me up until the double sticker, man. We don't need the name twice. Please don't. The what? Guys, it's the thick watt. I'm not making this up, man. It's the thick watt. How else would you pronounce it? Why would they do that? I don't know, man. Maybe they think that they just need to get their name out there, so they're just gonna put their name on it. I don't know what's going on with that, man. But this is the thick watt. That's a 32 gigabyte DDR4 RAM kit. I didn't know what else to buy, man. We're in Ramageddon over here. All right, here we go. For the SSD, this is the Crucial P3 Plus. I usually don't actually buy this good of a Gen 4 drive. This is a mid-range drive for PCIe Gen 4, but SSD prices are also getting a little crazy lately, and this happened to be one of the better deals. So yeah, that's making a surprise appearance. So is this guy. This is I've featured this a couple times now. This is the Raid Max Cobra Power 650 watt unit. This is actually rated tier C on the PSU tier list. PCIe. Oh, brother. What the... No way. No way that... Dude, I can't use that. Are you serious? Oh my god. How... This is rated tier C. God, I bought 15 of them. I mean, they... Oh my god. I can't possibly use a Pice Gen 5. Oh, I'm absolutely cooked. Oh, this is gonna explode. Where's Shauner? This was a ZTT deal. I literally bought 15 of them. I had no idea that we have 15 Pice Gen 5.1s arriving at the office. To make things safer, not really. Not at all, actually. We're going to be plugging in some Asia Horse cable extensions. We got an all-white kit here. It is 16 gauge, and it is the proper PCIe 5... Wait. I don't need PCIe 5.0. Oh, no. Is this build cooked? Oh, no. Oh, okay. I think somebody... Did a ZTT employee... Okay, these are the cables that I need. Oh my god. Whew. Okay, that one might have been a deal breaker. It looks like we're good. I think a ZTT employee must have opened that up at some point. Not really tracking what happened there. All right, here we go. For the next questionable move. Usually, I love this Thermalright Assassin X 120 Refined SE White ARGB for $19. This is typically a very good deal, but dude, they shipped me the this was sitting on my doorstep or on my porch like an hour ago. This is literally how they shipped it. What? No outer box, no cushioning, not even I can't even get a bag. Dude, Ramageddon is real out here, man. Everyone's having to cut costs left and right. This is how they shipped it. Why not the Octopus? I'm regretting not using the Octopus at this point. All right. For our case, okay, this one we shouldn't have any problems. I am actually looking forward to this. This is the brand new Phanteks Wait, what? M3, I think? Or MT3? Which one is it? MT3. XT M3. Wow, I was not going to get that. This is the Phanteks XT M3. This only costs $60. Micro ATX, all white. It almost has that Lee & Lee A3 form factor. It's a little bit taller, but it's very short still and long. So I'm kind of... Nothing else is similar about the Lee & Lee A3. I'm just talking about the dimensions. I'm looking forward to testing this out, though. I saw some reviews. People said that they like it, especially for $60. That should be pretty solid. And then finally, who wants to take a crack at what GPU we got? Oh, wait, never mind. You guys already saw it in IG. Never mind. Okay, here we go. We got ourselves a used... Dude, oh man, dude, we got some serious unboxing action going on here. Oh my god. Oh, dude, give me the thick watt right away, man. Dude, this is a serious unboxing art experience. It's almost like I did it on purpose. That's not bad, man. I like that a lot. That's clean. Yeah, that might make for a good combo. Anyway, we got ourselves a used Zotac RTX 3060 Ti. I paid $215 for this. I don't think you're going to find a 3060 Ti or that level of GPU for $215. I think this was actually a pretty big dub for a $650 PC. Hollows are cool, though. Dude, I like that, man. I like that a lot. This has been a very pleasant parts introduction section. Not a bad price. Yeah, that's pretty solid, man. And it's all white, exactly. Well, hold that thought. We need to... This is what I've been nervous about. We need to check if it's actually all white. because I don't know how many of you remember the good old days of this Zotac 30 series card, but these little white caps here, they would, over time, they would like iodize. I don't know what the word is, what the scientific word is, but they would turn yellow. Some people's worse than others, and some of them would turn like actual yellow, like literally like this. Some of them were like very faintly yellow. We gotta actually test right now if, come on, man. I need an all-white GPU. Okay, I feel like a squirrel at this point, like just being attracted to shiny things. I don't know why they keep trapping me with this, but like this has been a trip. Okay, all right. Is this actually a white GPU? Oh, oh my God. Oh, I see white. Oh, I see white. Oh, let's go. Yeah, that dude, that's dialed. That's nice, man. It's actually a beautiful card. I like that a lot. It's actually very nice. Side profile, dude, back when the 30 series was brand new, and even when 40 series was out, I probably bought at least 10 of these cards for YouTube builds, or I remember a couple Flippin' Friday projects using these cards. These were one of the best little all-white RTX cards, and these were always affordable. For being an all-white super clean card, they were always affordable. We're not going to use that. No. Double 8-pin? Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but it'll look clean. That looks new. This was used. I bought it on Java, actually. Whenever I know I am very biased towards Java, admittedly. But whenever I am shopping for used GPUs, I will go to Java first, because the guy that runs the GPU trade-in program, he specifically prices the GPUs to sell about 10 to 15%. I don't know what the exact number is, below what the average is on eBay. So like if they list up a card on the official Java store, that's a really good price to shoot for, just based off of that alone. So I went there first and I saw this all white 3060 Ti and I was like, dude, let's go, man. All right, step numero uno. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to unbox, unwrap, and get out your motherboard. Let me know if this is too much information to digest all at once. That's a neat looking motherboard. I literally bought this for aesthetics. Whenever I build these budget PCs, I do often search for... Sometimes my search criteria is the cheapest B550 that has 4 RAM slots and not atrocious VRM heatsinks. That is typically how basic it gets sometimes. Sometimes I'm willing to spend a few bucks more from that cheapest option to get an aesthetic motherboard. This is somewhat aesthetic, being the black and white option, but that is pretty much the extent of my search filter on that one. Let's get out our 5500. Got it right there. All right, here we go. What we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen, for the beginners out here, is sometimes it's a triangle, sometimes it's a dot, and sometimes it's one of these things. You're looking for the little indicator on your motherboard of which corner you're going to match up. This is our indicator. I'll admit that is not the best indicator I've ever seen in my lifetime. That's actually kind of weak. Sometimes it's like it's a nice triangle, something a little bit fancy. But what we're looking to do is pair that up with the gold triangle on our CPU. This is what our 5500 looks like. And we got this gold triangle right here. So that gold triangle is going to line up with this very weak indicator right here. That way you know the orientation of your CPU. Also with AM4 motherboards, I have yet to see one that is not in this exact position. So you basically take your CPU right side up and you rotate it clockwise 90 degrees. I have yet to see one that is not that. We're going to line that up right here. Make sure all those pins go down into the holes of the socket, and then that's it. With AM4, there is like basically no pressure pushing down here. I say this often, but with AM5, man, you gotta crank that thing down, and it does not feel good. With AM4, it's very easy. A baby could push that down. It doesn't really lock in that much at all. But there you go. That is the CPU. AM5 is stressful to install. Your first time installing an AM5 CPU, I don't care how many PCs you've installed before that, it's gonna feel uncomfortable latching that thing down. All right, with 2 sticks of RAM, there's a whole bunch of science behind here, but basically you need slot 2 and slot 4 from the CPU. So we got slot 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna install 2 sticks of RAM in slot 2 and slot 4. Okay, that's the very basic config. What we're looking for here is to make sure that this notch right here is what prevents you from plugging it in the wrong way. It will only fit this way and not that way, okay? Because that latch lines up with this little notch on the sticks. This is not perfectly in the center. It's more to the left than to the right with the way I'm holding it. So it will only fit in this orientation. So I'm gonna fit it in between these slots here on the left and the right. And I'm gonna give you some ASMR action. Just for the couple people that have never heard how the RAM sounds. We're gonna get a perfect ASMR here. Check this out, man. This is how you do it right now. Squeaky. Squeaky clean. We're gonna do that again for slot 4. Oh man, dude, that's solid. All right, let's get our SSD out. Comes with a nice little screw for us to use, but we don't need that. Higher quality DIMM sockets, yeah. Okay. For the SSD, on this particular motherboard, we have exactly 1 full-sized SSD slot. We actually have a secondary M.2 slot, but that is for those smaller little Wi-Fi cards. They actually make storage drives like that too, but this is for a Wi-Fi drive. We have one slot here, and it is underneath this M.2 armor. This is an SSD heat shield, so your SSD does not need to come with one, which is nice. The ultra budget motherboards actually don't have this, but unless you're using a Gen 5 drive, you probably don't need a heat shield at all. You'll be fine. But I'm just going to unscrew those two. There's going to be this little plastic piece that protects the actual thermal pad here. So we're going to remove that so it actually works. And then I'm going to slot in this SSD going from left to right at an angle. This is about the angle that I install it in, just so you can see it. About like that. That's the angle. You just push it in like so. This is what it looks like before we screw it down. That's the angle that it's sitting at. And then you just press that down. And this particular one, we don't need to latch it down. Like sometimes there's a latching mechanism. Sometimes you use a screw. For this one, it's just relying on the screw from the heat shield to keep it down there in place. So we'll put the heat shield back on there. Line up the screw and screw that in, and then our SSD is good to go. It's like a diving board? Exactly. Well, not really. Not actually... Not at all. Have you seen a diving board look like that? I mean, like when it's bouncing, like... No, not really. Close. Oh, there is another SSD slot. Good call. Yeah, I did not see that at all. There is a second SSD slot. My bad. Right here. That is a secondary, full-sized SSD slot. That was hot. Dude, that's hiding, man. Yeah, that's a little sneaky place for them to put it. Usually they're all lined up here. But yeah, that is definitely a second slot. There's probably a good chance that it's only a Gen 3. It's not labeled. It will be in the manual. But you typically just want to use whatever the top slot is. That'll give you the fastest speeds. Or the best PCIe generation. But yeah, that SSD is installed. And now the last thing to do to prep the motherboard is the cooler. I like to do all of the cooler stuff, or at least all of the cooler stuff that I can if it's an AIO, before the motherboard goes into the case. This is the final step of prepping the cooler. Pretty sure it's Gen 3? Yeah, I would imagine. Okay. Instructions for CPU coolers. Absolutely do not be afraid to use it. I bust out the don't clip that. I whip out, that's probably not better. I get out the instructions pretty often, just because we're always using different CPU coolers around here. Whenever you use these, you want to look for your socket type. We are on AM5. Basically what it's telling us to do here is we want to remove these plastic bridges that come included with your motherboard. That way they're all gone right here. Then we want to install these metal bridges going from north and south. And then basically put on our thermal paste. The tower just screws into it. And then you're good to go. So that's what we are going to do right now. Step numero uno is removing those plastic bridges. Isn't that AM4? It is AM4. The AM4 and AM5 socket installations are the same. That's why I think those instructions said AM4/AM5. But yeah, they will be the same. Guys, AM4 and AM5 mounting is exactly the same. Yeah. Alright. So those are the 4 screws. A lot of people hang on to these. I have probably 1 million of them. So I'm going to put it in my bin. But underneath here, that is what was holding our motherboard backplate. It's very important that you keep this. There are very few CPU coolers and AIOs that don't use these days. A few years ago, like, you'd have to take this off often, and it was very annoying. But these days, most CPU coolers just use that, so make sure you don't lose it. So after that, we're going to get out our hardware that's labeled AM4 and AM5. It's always good when the CPU coolers actually label where the screws, or which socket the screws are for. And then we're going to get these bridges. Actually, first we're going to put on these spacers. That just creates the perfect height for this mounting. And we're going to get these bridges and screw them down like so. We'll hand tighten them at first. Make sure everything's lined up properly, and then we'll bust out the screwdriver and crank it down. Are we all tracking so far? Too slow? Says Doc. Bust out, question mark. It's perfect. I don't know, man. I trust Doc's opinion. If Doc says too slow, build it in 14 minutes or less. Okay, Doc's in a speed run mode. His opinion is no longer valid. You're doing great. Time for another beer? Dude, I'm not shaking that beer up again, man. Are you serious? He's old. Stop pushing him. I only read that because I first thought you were talking about Doc, but now I realize you're talking about me. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm trying to find the perfect balance here. It was, just for the record, it wasn't me that voted on the step-by-step tonight. You guys all set, like, every single one of you at least built like 17 PCs when we were voting. This is not my fault. I'm just giving what the people want, man. Okay, we're gonna screw that in. Now we are definitely 100% never gonna forget to remove that. Absolutely devastating if you don't remove it. If you don't, then the heat does not transfer properly. Now it is time for some thermal paste. I'm just gonna use whatever they gave me. This is the Thermalright TF4. If you want to min-max your thermal paste application by buying some better stuff, go right ahead. Sometimes I do, Sometimes I don't. For a square CPU, I am going to do a generous pea-sized dot, just like that. I'm not gonna lie. With the step-by-step tutorial, some people will crack under that pressure. And I'm just letting you know, like, that is about as perfect as a P dot gets on a square CPU. That's a bit, yeah, a generous P. I like to go a little bit generous. Because if you, there's a lot of people that do the tiny pea-sized dot, and then that thermal paste doesn't go around the corner. So I like the generous dots there. So we got that on deck. I always forget which way to mount this. I don't think for this one it matters. Is it like this or like this? What does the picture show? I can't tell. Sometimes these are offset, so there's more space on one side. This one's actually not offset, so I don't think it matters. The only thing that matters is if you want to read the letters like this or like that. I think my bookshelf is like this, so I think we're going to do that. We're going to do a final triple check that there's no plastic on top of there, and then these screws on either side are what is going to connect right here to those screws. We're going to line them up. Sometimes you can hand tighten them just to get it into place while you're pushing down. The big thing is you don't want to crank down on one side and not the other. You want to evenly disperse that pressure. That way you're not putting unnecessary pressure on that CPU. So I like to go back and forth. If you have a 4-screw setup, then just do the star method, going back and forth. But there we go. Just crank that all the way down until it doesn't turn anymore. And then after that, we just want to put our fan in here. For almost every traditional PC case setup, this is the orientation of the fan. This is intaking in this direction. So it's grabbing fresh air from the front of the case, blowing it this way over the heatsink. That way you cool the heatsink, and then it's going to exhaust through there. So that is the orientation that we're going to install that. To keep the fan in place, we're going to install these little metal brackets. These just loop into these clips. Actually, wrong orientation. We're gonna want to keep these cables down. So I'm gonna put the clips over here. That way, when it mounts, those cables are down and hiding. You don't want those to be visible, or you want to hide the visibility as much as you can. Then I got my thumbs on these little metal things, and I'm gonna push up until it wraps around, and it's just basically going to attach to the heatsink there. I'm going to take my 4-pin PWM connector and plug it into the one that says CPU fan numero uno. That way the speeds can ramp up and down depending on the temperature of the CPU. And then I'm going to leave my little 3-pin ARGB connector dangling here, because we will deal with that once we get that installed into the case. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the step-by-step motherboard prep for this $650 bill. The Aqua 93 is such a clean case. Now, I will admit, I think Okino shines more with their budget cases. I mean, I don't have anything against those, like, I think they have like an Aqua 9 and an Aqua 93. I don't remember my thoughts, but I think I remember them being just fine. But I do think Okino's, their sweet spot is the $60 to $80 case. And for those, yeah, they provide some absolutely insane value. We got to get this twist tie out of my build ASAP. The Aqua 9 is awesome. Nice. Yeah, the Aqua 3 is like 55 bucks. How much is this power supply? I have no idea how much this routinely goes for. But it was on sale for $35, which is why I bought 15 of them. And it's not the first time that they've gone on that sale before. I think this is the second time, at least the second time that I've taken advantage. I think last year I bought 10 or 15 of these at one point as well. But it is a tier C power supply, which is the only reason I bought it, because it is a cheaper model. I am starting to regret it though, considering, if you guys missed it earlier, this is apparently a PICE Gen 5.0. Oh my god. A PICE Gen 5. Dude, I was feeling good about this build till I saw that. Like that's so what we're gonna do now is, this is boring. I'm not gonna do this step by step for this one. This is very boring. What I will give you is these are cable extensions. Remember, there are cable extensions, and then, oh my god, I am just realizing what happened. We have two different extension sets. You guys can probably not tell on camera. I was wondering what happened, because this was an open kit. And it was either Amazon probably sent this to us. They probably messed up. These are two different extension kits. Can you guys tell? You can tell? Yeah, these are different colors. These are different than these. And I think this is actually another Amazon scam, because this is what I noticed whenever we were unboxing it. It says that this is a PCIe 5.0 kit, which means that it should have the 12-volt high-power connector. And I was freaking out when we were talking about the parts, because we don't need the 12-volt high-power connector for this build. But what I'm seeing is this was part of the 12-volt high-power connector kit, but then they threw in the 6+2s from a different kit, because this is a slightly different white than this. So these are essentially two different kits. I'm gonna send it. I don't really care. I'm pretty sure that is an Amazon scam though. Yet again, but I'm not entirely sure what happened. Okay, but yeah, these are extensions. These will plug in to the connector side of any power supply. It doesn't matter if it's modular, semi-modular, or not modular at all. This connection, the connection that plugs into components, this is standardized, which means all of these extension kits will just plug into this, no problem. That is different than custom cables. Custom cables are what you plug into modular power supplies. We do not have a modular power supply, so we just buy these white cable extensions. They do extend the length. I do not buy cable extensions because I need the extra length for these builds. I buy them purely for aesthetics because I want the white cables. Yeah, see, we're even missing one of these, man. We should have gotten 4 of those. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. So we're gonna have to do it this way. 4 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those. Yeah, that's a huge bummer, actually. I love when Zach yaps. Dude, I hope so, man. This is a yapping stream. I might need to tone down the yapping, though. We might need to transition over to ASMR. I feel like I'm losing my voice already, man. This is a lot of yapping. Always need the extra length. What is your all-time favorite video game? I don't think I have one. All-time... I mean, that's too tough of a question. Pull a meta PCs and build a Lego PC. They did that today, right? I thought I saw the notification for it. I did not tune in, unfortunately. Minecraft right now, dude. Dude, we are in a huge Minecraft phase here at the ZTT household. I've been playing Minecraft even without my kids, just so I'm prepared for when we do play. Speaking of which, Minecraft Friday night. We'll be gaming tomorrow. Alright, so what I'm doing now are just threading in these cables into the cable combs by just pushing them in here fully aligned. This is what keeps the cables looking nice and straight. Otherwise, they'll look like kind of weird like this, as opposed to what you can kind of see that I'm doing already. This straightens out the cables. This is probably the most boring part of building a gaming PC, in my opinion. It also hurts your fingers a little bit, but it's worth it for the aesthetics. That way we get the nice even straightness versus like madness. over here. I'm gonna put two of these on the 24 pin and then a few more on the other cables. Stream your Minecraft family night? That sounds like a terrible idea, man. I like, part of me wants to show you guys our Minecraft world. But like, I don't know. It's too sacred. We're having too much fun with family Minecraft nights like that. I'll come into the streams and tell you guys about like what we're up to and whatnot. But I gotta keep that. That's a family thing right there, man. We're having too much fun with that. Tomorrow during family Minecraft night, we're probably just gonna gun it straight for that village and set up shop underneath the cherry blossoms. It's gonna be great. Are you doing Java or Bedrock? It's a weird setup. My boys are still playing on Bedrock clients. Just because that was easier. We started them on Bedrock because we got a Switch, we got an iPad, we got computers, etc. So they're on a Bedrock client, but the server is still Java. That way I could still load it up with mods, have better customization and whatnot. But so it's both. You're using Geyser? Yeah, Geyser and Floodgate. Don't share that family time with the world. Keep it family. Yeah, exactly. I'll gladly like share what happens and talk about it and whatnot, but like we're not gonna do much more than that, man. Okay, this is the 4+4 for the CPU power. Only like this much of it, probably not even that much, is going to be exposed coming from the back of the motherboard. So we only need 2 for that. And then these are the 2 6+2s. Typically, I would use an 8 slot. Actually, hold on. I might have extras. I sometimes keep extra cable combs here in the ZTT household. Let's see if... Oh my god. Oh my god. I love that I take aesthetics too far sometimes. Because this is exactly why, man. I got the stash. I got the stash right here. This is specifically my stash in case things go wrong and I'm missing parts. This is what I got, my little goodies here. We got some PWM cable extensions. We got some LTT Velcro straps. We got multiple colors and sizes of GPU sag brackets. We got some ARGB splitters, some PWM fan hubs, and most importantly, we got extra cable combs on deck. So now we can do my little fun method of cable combing these together. I love that I have all that stuff, man. That is super clutch. 3D printed Gridfinity box? Exactly. Exactly. I broke it though, so it doesn't actually latch anymore. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm sure if you guys have been watching Thirsty Thursday, this is like your 3,000th time hearing me explain this. But this is a 6+2 connector, and this is a 6+2 connector. We want to combine them as opposed to running 2 individual 6+2 slots, because then they don't stay lined up with each other. This is a 24 pin. So what we have to do, you could clean cut this a little bit better if you want to take it extra far, but for the sake of speed, I'll just use these cutters. We want to basically just cut off 2 of these on the sides, on both sides, and then that way we essentially have one that can fit both. That way all of the cables stay nice and tidy, and the aesthetics are a little bit better. Hopefully everyone's tracking that. How many times do you guys type the number in chat of how many times you've heard me explain that right there? I would love to know the number on that. How many times do you think you've heard me say, this is how you combine the 6+2 connectors with custom cut cable combs? Where are we at? Guys, I need real numbers. No 6s or 7s. 25, 40, 90. Okay, you guys can't control yourselves. That is absolutely obnoxious. That is too much brain rot. Dude, I'm just asking a simple question here, man. That's too much. First stream? There you go. I'd rather hear that. Actually, 94 and counting? Nice. Are you writing them down, or? It's an oddly specific number, man. I bought a pre-built and I don't see the fans on Signal RGB. Can you help? Yeah, Signal RGB doesn't, as much as we hope it does, Signal RGB doesn't absolutely work with every single product. There are a couple things that could have gone wrong. But yeah, there are some product, like, ouch. Dude, I don't know what's happening here, but I keep cutting my fingers here, and I was at the gym today, and it was dude, I was getting blood all over the rope. Dude, it was a mess. Yeah, like a lot of Lee fans don't work with Signal RGB. There's some products that just don't integrate well with that. But what does integrate well are these cable extensions. This is why we did that. That way it's nice and straight and connected here. It looks like one singular cable instead of two different strands. I'm actually going to add another one. A, because we have it, but B, you'll see later with this case setup why another one would be beneficial. So I'm going to do that one more time, and then I promise we're done with this boring step. Wearing gloves makes you look weak. I get it. Oh, dude, you wouldn't catch me dead in a gym with gloves on. Come on, man. Gloves. What are you building tonight? This is a $650 all-white gaming PC. This is for an upcoming YouTube video. No other angle other than that. It's just a $650 build. Show you some options with updated RAM pricing. We definitely overpaid for this kit today. How much of that is RAM? About 3,000 of it. Yeah, well, pretty much all the budget is RAM. There we go. Now that is looking squeaky clean. Okay, we can get rid of all this stuff. Okay, so here are our nice and cable-combed cable extension, not looking so crazy anymore. So we're going to plug those into here. I'm going to turn off that non-copyrighted song that just tried to play. And then we will plug in our PCIe power cables and our 4+4. Now all of our connections are good to go. The power supply is prepped. And now it's finally time to actually put these Lego pieces together. But yeah, this is the Phanteks XT M3. Am I doing this wrong? I feel like I'm doing this wrong. The Phanteks XT M3. This is a... Okay, I gotta be doing this wrong. Why is it not popping out easily? Does the front panel have to come off? Remove top panel first. Dude, I did that, man. Dude, that's a screw. That is a screw. I'm not gonna pull that off. Where's my screwdriver? There we go. All right. You would think... Oh, it's a pick... All right, user error. Somehow I only read the words. I didn't look at the picture. Remove top panel first. And there's a screw. Got it. I am now tracking. You would think that I would look at the pictures, man. Have you tried turning it off and on? I have not tried that. We're We're gonna bend that case that I bent ever so slightly, a little bit, a little bit back. There we go. All right, glass. Let's remove that too. That's a painful design. Yeah, having to... we just used another case like this before. Having to use a screwdriver to remove case panels is a... Okay, why is that not removing? Dude, I don't want to bend this one. Yeah, having to use a screwdriver to remove case panels in 2025 is that not a questionable design? Like what year is it? Okay, this is a very interesting... Dude, there's a lot going on here, man. There it is. I was looking for that screw. The side panel screw. Okay, we got... This is what the back panel is looking like. Oh, let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. That's what the back panel is looking like. We got some 2.5 inch... Whoa. That's some heavy or light action metal here. The motherboard's going to go here. Looks like the power supply is going to go face up over here. We got a whole big bundle of PWM and RGB connectors. And then it looks like this is also where Phanteks decided to hide this huge bundle. It looks like I'm going to have to remove this panel to get I don't know if we'll need that to get access to this zip tie. No thank you, that is not allowed in my system, sir. Not up in here. Is that the Phanteks XT M3? It is. Okay, so we got that bundle. That looks good. We'll remove that twist tie whenever we get to it. I think we're good, man. Let's start installing some of these parts. We're gonna start with the IO shield because it's absolutely devastating if you ever forget that. Also gonna make sure that we have enough standoffs. Sometimes cases, they don't come with all the standoffs that you need, so I'm just checking to make sure that it's filled out there. I'm gonna push this IO shield from right to left into there. Try not to cut myself. That is the sharpest part of most PCs right there. Then I'm gonna grab my motherboard. Oh wow, dude, this is not gonna work at all. Look at this. Come on, Phanteks, what are we doing here, man? Look at this. That's not a great start. They have this cable for this rear fan, like, pulled so tight that I literally wouldn't even be able to install the motherboard right there. And I can't pull it because it's cable managed to give it more slack. If I try to... I could maybe install it by going up and around. Oh, that feels bad. I could do it that way. I guess that's still really tight though. Yeah, that's not good. We're not gonna do that, Phanteks. What are we doing here, man? That is a little bit too cable managed. And also, oh my god, dude, this is not off to a great start at all. There's a sharp edge here. I just almost cut myself. What the f... Why is this so sharp? Oh my god. This... Can you guys see through the case here? This right here, dude, I almost cut myself already. That's ridiculous. Down here. That is a very sharp edge here on the... Dude, this is a budget case, but like, come on now. Typical Phanteks. I mean, I usually like Phanteks' stuff, man, but that dude, I don't like the start of this at all. Yeah, I mean, we don't... Sharp edges used to be a very popular thing whenever you are building with a budget case. I'm not going to leave this in here, don't worry. I'm just putting it in here for now. It used to be a very popular thing, but like, gone are the days of having sharp edges in a PC case. That is obnoxious. Okay. Alright, now we have enough slack there to install our motherboard. Gonna push those ports of the I/O out into that I/O shield. And then there's the standoff that's in the middle. This isn't always, but most of the time these days. The standoff right here has like a little lip or dip into it. And that keeps the motherboard in place. Very, very convenient feature. A lot of cases have that these days. This is the only accessory bag that came included with the XT M3. To nitpick a little bit more, with all white cases, I would really prefer the clear zip ties. I appreciate the zip ties, don't get me wrong. See, they even gave us silver hardware, which is what we want for a white PC, but the all black zip ties are a little questionable. Back in the day where like all the budget cases were only from like DIY PC and Sama, before other manufacturers were making the budget cases, like those were actual hazards. There were a lot of sharp edges on those. You don't see that these days at all anymore. It was normal? Yeah, it was a normal thing. I remember talking in videos years ago about like where to look out for the sharp edges. It's not really a thing these days. Alright, now I'm just gonna install or screw in all of these standoffs on the motherboard. Eve Crystal Gaming with a 300 biddy says, sorry, I would have... Oh no. Sorry, I would have donated more. I have like $12 left. Also, what is better? Laptop 4060? Or a desktop 3060? Oh. First off, please don't ever apologize for not donating more. Second of all, that's actually a good question, man. You can solve that question by typing it into YouTube. Laptop GPUs are obviously underpowered and have less cooling and are power restricted, but I don't know that exact comparison. I definitely do not keep laptop GPU versus desktop GPU comparisons in my head, sorry. But you can find the answer to that very quickly on YouTube, I would imagine. I would guess the desktop 3060 is better though, but I'm not sure. And judging by the lack of responses, I think most people don't know that answer either. Okay, one more standoff, and then this motherboard is installed. Okay, there we go. Oh, sorry, wrong camera. There we go. All of the screws are good to go, so now we can plug in all of these cables, which are the case connector. We got a front panel that is integrated into one connector, which is good. And these are all white, which I appreciate. HD audio, USB 3.0, and USB Type-C. So we're gonna route those. We're gonna get our fancy camera here over at this angle, maybe. Is this charged yet? No? Hello? Oh, there it is. There we go. Come on, man. There we go. We're gonna plug in these connectors now. So HD audio is almost always in the bottom left corner. I know you probably still can't see. Maybe we can get some zoom in action since we're doing this step by step, man. You're probably gonna end up just seeing my hands, but I mean this or my bald spot. But this is as good as I can give you here, man. This is the USB 3.0. If you want clean cable management from the front, which in my opinion you definitely should, one of the biggest things to do is just to route the cables out from the back side of the case as close as possible to wherever it's going. Don't route this front panel connector from the top, since the front panel connector or the header on the motherboard is all the way down here. then just route it down here. That way it has the least amount of visibility. You don't want that coming from even over here, because then you would see it wrap down. How much is the case? It's only 60 bucks, which is the whole reason I bought that. We unfortunately do not have, this is the downside of using AM4 most times, is, oh, hold on, dude, I'm messing up this Zoom game big time. We do not have a USB-C connector with this motherboard, so unfortunately we can't use that. If we really wanted to use the USB-C connector, which is down here on the front side of the case, we could use a USB 2.0 adapter, or there's actually a USB 3.0 extra header down here. We could use an adapter for that. It will be slower speeds. It'll slow down to whatever the port is over here, but it'll still give you that USB-C connection. I don't have one of those on hand, though, so we will just not worry about that for now. The next thing we need to worry about, though, is this ridiculous bundle of fans. Whatever we got. I don't know what all we have going on here. Are these... I can't even tell if these are daisy-chained or proprietary or what the what is this nonsense? The only reason I'm confused is because I see multiple PWM, but I only see 2. But we got 3 fans? How do we have 2 PWM connectors and 1 ARGB? I don't know. Maybe that's from the back fan? That's the CPU cooler. How am I going to do this? I don't think my motherboard is going to have 2 ARGB slots. Or headers. There's 1. Oh, we do have 2. Okay, well, I guess that's what we're going to have to do then. Okay. So I'm going to take the ARGB cable from our CPU cooler and route that to connect to the motherboard, and then I would take the ARGB connector from the daisy-chained case fans and plug that into another connector on the motherboard. Can't really see what I'm doing, but this one's gonna plug in down here. Because we can't daisy-chain those. That's a weird setup. It's like a proprietary ARGB, but I don't really know what's going on here, to be honest. I'm a little confused. Case model is the Phanteks XT M3. Okay, so now we just unleashed this rat's nest. And yeah, we got 1 PWM connector here, 1 ARGB from here. I feel like these need to plug into each other. Maybe that came undone. Yeah, that needs to plug into each other. But then we have a second PWM. That I'm not tracking all the way, but it is what it is. We gotta do what we gotta do. And this is going to be a complete rat's nest back here. I can already tell. This is gonna be a bad one. Was it a solid or mesh top case? It is a mostly mesh case. Or top panel. Yeah, this is going to be a rat's nest. This is going to take some serious work for cable managing. Okay, that's plugged in. Now we need some PWM action. How many? We got 2 at the bottom here. Yeah, we can just, we'll hide these. Hide these to go in the through this little thing. And then they can both connect down here. We got 2 PWM connectors down here. That is the fan control. This is what allows you to adjust your fan curve or your static fan speed to be whatever you want. That's what those connections do. Okay. So now everything that we need to be plugged in is plugged in. Again, we can't do the USB-C now. But this is unfortunately what this cable management is looking like. And I'm just now realizing that I got to redo some of this because We got this bar going across here, and that is what the side panel is going to plug into, or like lay down. And I failed to route some of these cables through the holes of this bar. So I'm going to redo those couple real quick. Otherwise, I don't think the case panel can close unless if I do. So we'll do that real quick. Back cover will hide it all. That is true. That is true. But we'll do it. We'll do it a somewhat functional cable management. We're not going to go IG worthy or anything, but we'll get it to a functional level at least. Okay. Front panel is plugged in now. Okay. How's the sim setup? It's amazing. We can definitely talk more about the sim setup once we... Oh, I got one more to do. The USB 3.0. This one sucks trying to unplug. Oh my god, that one really sucks. Nobody likes unplugging the... Oh my god, why is that in there like that? Oh, that is obnoxious. That is crazy latch down in there, man. It's like they don't want you to take this off. That is ridiculous. Oh my god, I might not be able to do that. That might be permanently in there. I don't think I have a choice. I have to uninstall that. Oh my god. It's like it's latched down, but it's not. This is ridiculous. I'm gonna break my motherboard. Oh my god, I might. This is crazy. There we go. Oh my god. That was brutal. All for the sake of cable managing. Actually, that's for the sake of closing the case. We're not trying to get fancy. I just gotta be able to get this case closed. Okay, now I can replug that in. There we go. So what I like to do is I like to do some pre-cable managing. That way, you don't have to deal with a rat's nest at the end, and you can kind of just go. Yeah, this is bad. Okay. So for the zip ties that are not going to be visible from the front side, I'm going to use the black ones. If it's going to be visible, I don't even know if I have any more clear ones. That'll suck. So we'll use the black ones for this side. Just pull these cables tight. Just try and make this look a little bit nicer. All states on the West Coast voted to abolish daylight savings, and California is the only state holding back. Well, I don't know about any of that, man. All I know is that it is definitely dumb. Okay. What can I do with... What can I... Oh my god, this is not good, man. Maybe I can get that bundled together like this. This is not planned at all, man. This is... Sometimes you just gotta zip tie whatever you can get. With some builds, in some cases, like, yeah, you can, like, look at it and be like, oh, I'm gonna put this here, I'm gonna put that here. Definitely gonna take this stupid twist tie out, for sure. But other times, you just gotta zip tie whatever is in the way. That's what we're doing right now. We're just zip tying as we go. Okay, now we have this. And this. Probably just pull that. Probably just pull all of these tight this way. Get rid of that twist tie? Dude, it's gone. No zip ties up in here, man. Never again. Never again. Okay, there we go. So we got that little... That should be fine. I don't know what I can zip tie this to, though. Yeah, dude, dude, I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of this case so far. We got like no cable management. We're not getting any help with cable management. They have this back panel here, which is designed for you to stuff all of your extra cables. We will be leveraging that, but like aside from that, there's like nothing here that's helping me with the zip ties. It's a little upsetting, to be honest. And no white zip ties. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to put a black zip tie that's going to be visible from the front. That might look a little weird. So we're just going to do what we can do. Now that we have everything tight, this I can't do anything about, unfortunately. Now that everything is tight over here, I guess now what we're going to do is just zip tie this back here, because that panel will cover it. So it'll be like that, and then it'll actually look, dare I say, a little clean. But this is only the pre-cable management phase. We still have to do the power supply after all this, so it's about to get a lot worse, man. But we can at least do that for now. And now let's snip all of those off of here. That's the best we can do for now. Zip tie is done? I think zip tie is done. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we are good to go. Actually, I'm going to do one more. This one's bothering me over here. We're going to do one more back here. Okay, there we go. All right, that's actually not looking terrible. And again, we will have this little guy to use. So once we cover up that, it'll actually look much better. That's actually looking clean, but that is without a power supply with cable extensions. So like I said, it's about to get a whole lot worse because we need to somehow fit all of this nonsense in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the power supply. That way I don't forget. And then we will plug this extension in like that. And we're going to put the power supply like this. This is a very unorthodox power supply installation. I think this is the right way. Oh no, that is not the right way. We're going to unplug this. We're going to pull this down here. We're going to put the power supply in like this. And then plug it in. That way it actually fits. There's a weird spot for a cable, though. It's actually a very weird angle for a cable. Dude, what are we doing? I don't like this at all. That's a nasty angle right there. Okay, so that's going to be like that. And then you kind of twist it like this. So then it can... Ew. There we go. Dude, I don't like that at all. That puts a nasty... It's not terrible, but it puts quite a bend radius on there. I don't love that. Bozo Thursday? Dude, that might be the name, man. Seeing some extra bozos. Bro, Twitch is horrible? Yeah, I mean, we might need to resort to YouTube chat. I don't like that cable bend. I don't either, man. Yeah, that's a questionable design choice by Phanteks to put it like that, but I don't think there's anything else we can do. The only thing we could do is flip the power supply. That way the fan is facing inside, but I don't want the fan to face inside. I want it to intake fresh air. Painful says YouTube chat has been just as bad. Wow. Way to call them out, man. I didn't say it. That was painful. Okay, there we go. We got that, and then, yeah, I mean, this is just gonna go here. Like so. Kind of looks like it was designed to do that. But yeah, I don't like that even a little bit. And I'm just now realizing I didn't route the ARGB connector as smoothly as I wanted to. We will have to adjust that. I'll do that right now before I forget. Oh, I zip tied it too. I don't like that the zip tie or the RGB cable is coming this way. I'd rather it go up and around there. So we'll cut that off real quick, redo that. We gotta make that look good without snipping the cables. I'm doing well, man. We got the sim rig set up. Most of my work day yesterday was making content about the new sim rig. I filmed 2 videos about building the sim rig, so those will come out at some point. I actually tried to film the rest of the video today at the office, but then the office power went out. So some people actually stayed at the office. I went home because I can do pretty much my entire job from home. Some people were continuing to build PCs in the dark today. I think they had some flashlights going and some battery like desktop light things. They're still doing their best, man. They're cranking them out, but okay, I think we're good on that. Yeah, let's start plugging in some of these. Oh my god, look at this. So much for the cable, man. Oh my god. Now, I'm not going to make that same mistake again. I'm going to route these cables properly through the case so I don't have to reroute them twice, like we did for the other connections. First, we got the... I'll do this GPU one, because that's what I got my hands on here first. This might be a little tough, though. The holes that they got to route through are not that big, man. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. The more I use this case, the more I don't like it. I was looking forward to this. That can route through there, and then I guess through here. Like so. Push it out, yep, like that. That way that comes from here. That'll be our GPU power cable. You gotta be careful when pulling cables from the bottom of the motherboard, because you don't want those cables to snag on a motherboard pin down there or anything. Okay, so that should be enough slack. We'll find that out later. Now let's do the 4+4, or actually we'll do the 24 pin. This is what I'm really worried about. I don't know how I'm gonna get this 24 pin through this hole. This looks a little rough. I forgot this was a learning stream. This is a figure it out stream at this point. Route this 24 pin coming through here. Look how little room we have, man. This is an actual tight squeeze. Dude, I don't know about this case. Were people rating this case highly? I feel like I saw some good reviews about this case. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like it. We got a couple issues with it here. Plug in the 24 pin. The case is rated over 4 stars. Yeah, but what did my fellow YouTubers say about it? That 24 pin is tight. That's really tight. It looks kind of clean. But that is definitely a tight squeeze. These are very, very flexible cables. Part of the reason why we like Asia Horse. This actually doesn't even feel that unhealthy of a bend just because of how flexible those cables are. But with some cable extensions, yeah, that would definitely be rough. That doesn't feel all that bad though. I am genuinely a little worried about fitting these cables here with these cable extensions here, man. Like this is starting to run out of space. All right, before we freak out, let's plug this one in now. How was the wiggle test? Shockingly good. Yeah, that thick watt RAM is not messing around at all. That was very good. So I'm gonna route this the long way, up this way, just so I can take some of the cable bundle out from that area. Otherwise, I'd probably go the short way, but we'll go the long way around today. I'm gonna plug in this 24 pin, or 24, the 4+4 up here at the top of the motherboard. Make sure both sides click in there nicely. That's plugged in right there. Like so. And I think that's all the connections. Don't be looking at my thighs, man. I think that's all the connections we have to do. So now we have to figure out what to do with all these cables. A modular power supply would, oh my god, really help. Dude, this is, I legitimately don't think that we're going to be able to fit all these here. We're going to, one thing that we can do is let's get this 24 pin out on this side of the case. That should give us a lot of room. It's not going to look as pretty, but I think it's just something we got to do at this point. There we go. We'll put that out here just randomly like that. That'll free up a lot of extra space. Like this. Yeah, now I'm less stressed. That was what we had to do. It's going to look way less aesthetic. Cable management wise. Dude, this is kind of rough, man. This is not great. Who designed this case? I don't know, man. I am not a huge fan. Okay, I mean that'll close, but like that is not nearly as I kind of thought we were cooking there a little bit with the cable management. I've spent some time with all those zip ties, but like that just all went out the window. There's nothing aesthetic about that cable management at all. Let's get this GPU installed now. I am sad now. I kind of am too. Just keep the back panel closed. Well, yeah, we'll be keeping it closed. It's not a huge deal, but how do I remove this thing? Like that? Okay. All right. Where's our graphics card going? We're gonna need to uninstall these two PCIe slot covers so our GPU will fit. We'll use these screws to keep the GPU in place. These are the removable slot covers. Hang on to those. Just because they match up with your case perfectly. Then we're going to install the GPU by pushing it into the top PCIe slot. Like so. Make sure that's firmly seated the whole way. And then, as you can see, it's like kind of hanging down there while it's in the slot. Well, it's actually the camera angle that makes it look hanging a lot. It's really not hanging that much in real life. But I am still going to hold it upwards as I'm screwing in to keep it nice and straight. Yeah, I don't know why the angle looks so weird, but it's not actually hanging down like that. That's just the camera angle. What GPU is that? This is a used Zotac 3060 Ti. I got a pretty good deal actually for $215. That's actually pretty good value. I don't know how this, there we go. Just like that. And then I'm going to install these. Did I leave enough room, hopefully? Not quite. Not quite enough slack on that. So what I'm going to have to do is actually, you guys, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but that third cable comb is actually in a terrible spot right now, which is stopping me from pulling more slack out of that cable. So I'm going to get rid of that. Just because of how this case is designed. It wasn't wasn't a great spot. Now I have a little bit more slack, and now I can plug these in. This is actually a pretty difficult... This is the one thing I don't like about these Zotac cards. Especially with this CPU cooler here. Like, can you see how very little room we have and how recessed the connector is, like an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches into the GPU. So it actually is very tricky to plug that in. Plug in this connector, especially with the CPU cooler in the way. This is actually going to be pretty tricky, especially the second one. The 6+2 here, these don't stay together, hence the name 6+2. So getting these in is actually a pretty tricky ordeal. This is why you need the raccoon fingers. Tiny raccoon fingers. No, I only got the 6 in there. Pull the card out. I will resort to pulling the card out if I can't get this in. Okay, I got one of the 6+2s in. Let's see if I can get this other one in without pulling the card. This is gonna be the tough one. Oh yeah, I don't know about this. I might be able to do it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we got it all in. I'm using this finger to keep the card up while I push in to make sure I'm not putting unnecessary strain on that PCIe slot. I still got to pull some more slack though from these extensions, but we did get it plugged in. There we go. Okay. Now we have some extra slack. Our cable combs, dude, this is a tight squeeze, man. Cable combs got all messed up, so we're gonna try to reorganize those. Make it look clean and straight. Like so. It's really messed up at the bottom here. Okay. Sometimes this part takes a while, but this is just how you get those clean cables. It's what you got to do, man. Okay. There we go. That can look a little bit better, but this case is anti-cable extension. That is a fantastic way to put it. Yeah. Yeah, this is actually pretty difficult, but I mean that's somewhat clean here. Okay. Good enough for now. Let's worry about closing this now. Look at all this. I'm hesitant to zip. I guess I could just put one big zip tie around here, or actually a Velcro strap would be better for this one. If it's long enough. That's a big cable bundle. We'll put an LTT Velcro strap for this huge bulk of excess power supply cables. A modular white power supply would definitely be recommended for a build like that. Well, I can't even really say that because modular white power supplies are super expensive and usually not totally realistic for a $650 build. But that would make this case significantly less painful to use. Significantly less painful. There we go. Okay. That is what the final not clean anymore cable management looks like. We can put this here to hide some of the damage. That's if we can even get that down here. Like so. That's why this panel is here, to hide your ugly cable management. It only helps a little. There we go. Okay. That's it. Not Not great. Dang, that was tough, man. That was, there were a couple obstacles on that one. Let's make sure that this can close before we start acting like this is a done deal. Okay, how does this work again? Without bending? Like that? Is that bent still? No, that looks fine. Yeah, you really do need that screw, though. I don't think that's the right screw. I think that's it. Like that? There we go. Okay. Alright, I don't think I damaged it too much. That looks, does that look okay? Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. Let's get the, or I'm not gonna put the side panel on. This is the top of the case. It's been a while since I showed it. I don't know if it goes this way or this way. I think this way. Like that. And then the front panel. Like this. Maybe. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay, let's plug this in. Let's make sure she turns on. Have a beer now? You're only blurry because it's Thirsty Thursday? Dude, that's... Yeah, that was an unexpected, not smooth build. Looks clean. Could have been... How do I... Hello? The power... What, did the power switch come off? Yeah, it did. There we go. Specifically turn that on. I don't know what happened there. Okay, there we go. Alright, here we go. First time trying to turn it on. Oof. Let's go. Okay, we got some unicorn RGB puke per expectation. But that is not absolutely terrible. It looks good, man. I like the aesthetics the aesthetics look good, man. That's some, yeah, that is some very bright RGB. The case just was not fun. Yeah, that's pretty solid. I'll take that, man.